What's going on, YouTube? This is Drano's back at it again, bringing you another video. So back at it, doing, mixing up the content. Wanted to do a little sit-down discussion video. I like to try to do these videos from time to time, more just to kind of voice my thoughts, even though I am a smaller channel. I still feel like, everyone in the community has somewhat of a voice in this case. Now, as far as whether EA wants to listen to that, that's for a whole nother story. But, just wanted to voice my thoughts to, everyone that subscribes and follows me. If you're not, shameless plug, follow me on Twitter. It's just at Dranos TV, just like my YouTube page. So go ahead, follow all my socials, Twitch, all that good stuff. Subscribe, all that good stuff. But just wanted to do a little sit-down conversational video about a tweet that I saw yesterday that came up, and I was just kind of sitting on it, really thinking about it, and we're out here gonna go ahead and talk about it. So the tweet that I'm referring to, it actually came up on my news feed, yesterday in the morning is actually when it got posted. So it's actually from Ryan915, or actually just Ryan915. I don't know why I said X, but interestingly enough, he's actually one of the first content creators that I really ever watched on YouTube. I know for me, whenever I first got into Madden, I had no idea that Madden YouTube was a thing, and he was actually one of the first guys that I started watching. So, by any chance, if he ever stumbles upon this video, hey, I appreciate inspiring my channel and everything that's kind of been going on around my part. So, but he tweets, "Competitive Madden ruined Ultimate Team. Just saying, in case y'all didn't know," and that's interesting because, in my opinion, because I'm coming from both sides, from being a comp player and then also a content creator. So I feel like I have multiple views of this, of this tweet, in my opinion. Now, I'll say this. I wouldn't even necessarily say comp Madden. I would just say EA, more than anything, ruined Ultimate Team. Because for me, just to give you a little bit of background about me and kind of my history in Madden. I know for me, I got into Madden back, I think it was like 05, back when Ray Lewis was on the cover. And it wasn't even on a console, it was on like the computer or something like that. And ever since, I was hooked on Madden. Now, I know for me, whenever Ultimate Team first dropped, I think it was in like Madden 12 or 13 or something like that. I don't know. It was one of those years. I never really got into it. I was more one of those guys where I played franchise, played head-to-head against my buddies, things like that. So, never really got into Ultimate Team until about 15. And I know for me, 15, I probably got into it around this time of the year, around the Most Feared promo. And after that, I've been kind of hooked ever since. And in my opinion, just seeing how Madden has I won't even say progress, how it's regressed from that moment all the way up until we're at now, it's just crazy how much of a nosedive that it's taken. Obviously, Madden 15, there was no MCS, so really you were just playing MUT just for fun. And to be honest, that's when I actually really, really enjoyed playing it. No comp, no nothing. The comp stuff was mainly just like underground tournaments on regs. MUT was just about, building the team that you want. And just to kind of get on a side tangent, really, you could build a team and not spend any, you want to talk about actual no money spent, you could actually do that in Madden 15. And honestly, you could argue in 16 as well. You didn't have to spend money. And to be honest, you don't have to spend nearly as much time, in my opinion, to get comparable cards to, the top tier cards. And I'll actually give you guys some examples. So first example that I actually want to give you guys is this, and it's ironic because we're on this promo now, this Most Feared Dree Archer. This is a screenshot, I believe it's from Reddit, on Madden 16. This card was only a 70 overall, and I'm not exactly sure what his stats are because it doesn't show it on the backside. But he had to have had, I think, bare minimum 94, 95 speed. If you got this card on your squad, you could literally run this card for pretty much the whole year of Madden 16 or until you got to the point where, like, you had enough coins built up to where you could actually, get a running back with a higher rating. And you might be arguing, well, I mean, didn't he fumble a lot and whatnot? But guys, for a 70 overall, whenever I used him back in the day, I rarely ever saw him fumble. Like, that's how good this card is. And I feel like nowadays in MUT, you don't see that enough. You don't see like these value type cards anymore. Now, I'm not saying that, to have these guys play top tier and that they should play over, golden ticket type levels or 99 overalls. No, I'm not saying that either. But, give guys who can't build a team like top tier team, give them options to help them compete somewhat. I'm not saying that, to say, oh, I feel bad, like give everyone a fair shot. I don't believe that at all either, because I feel like, it's one of those things, just like with anything in life, whether it be sports, with work, whatever the case may be, you get out what you put in. And, if you want to put in the time to build your team, okay, that's great. Not everyone's able to do that. The only other way that you can do it is with money. But, there are, nice ways, or back in the day, there are ways where you can get around it with getting guys like this. I'm sure, other guys that you could think about, include, especially from this year. I feel like 16 was like the best year for like budget teams. I want to say there was the Lonnie Ballantyne, who as a safety and as a user was unreal, and there's a reason why he was being used a lot in competitive Madden during the Madden 16 championship. I think every roster had him because he had such low cap, but he was a good user. So you had him. Nate Askew, I think is what his name is, linebacker, who was only like a 59 overall, but had 91 speed. Like, guys, like that. Like I said, I felt like this year was definitely kind of like the golden era for those type of cards. And nowadays, you don't really see that. It's just kind of been on the decline ever since, guys. I know you could probably argue that, a guy like Troy Apke has been pretty consistent, throughout the year. Or throughout years, and, with good reason. He's a good user. He's fast. He hits hard. But, I mean, I think he's the only guy that I can think about that's kind of like a value card that can, be on any team, no matter what, whether it be a God Squad or, a budget team. So, I think, in this case, having those options available to you, especially if you're not able to have the top tier cards, I think, that would be nice to kind of try to bring that back. Now, just to go ahead, like I said, I know I went off on a tangent there, but just to go ahead, revisit, this tweet. I could see why, he would say competitive Madden ruined Ultimate Team, just because, I'll be honest, there's definitely, some not well liked people in the Madden community that play comp that they find ways to kind of glitch the game and things like that. So I mean, I can understand where he's coming from, because I know he's more of just like a content creator and does a really good job at it. So but then again, I mean, that's not neither here nor there. But I wouldn't even necessarily just say competitive Madden. I would just say EA in general. Going back, EA, when they introduced the MCS back in 16, it was MUT was still great. Even in 17, it was great. Honestly, my favorite time frame in terms of MUT was 15 to 18. And I know probably some people are freaking out thinking that I thought 18 was good. But I know for me, generally speaking, I actually enjoyed 18 outside of like some of the craziness that went on with like the air truck and stuff like that. But 15 to 18, I felt like was really enjoyable. And then after that, competitive Madden from 19 to now where we're at now, it's just been it's been a complete joke. I'll say that. I just feel like there's no transparency. Matt Marcoux is, like, out of any big organizations that I've ever seen, is the most incompetent leader I've ever seen, or even just commissioner in general of any type of, like, esport, sporting league, whatever. It just blows my mind how, with everything that's gone on, especially this year, there's been so much craziness that's happened between like the DC glitches for clubs and just a lot of other stuff going on behind the scenes. It just blows my mind how you could just be silent during this time. And it's frustrating as someone who wants to still to try to compete. Me being just a former college athlete, I love to compete. And so Madden is one of those ways where, that I use to kind of get my release to compete in that case. But it's just, I feel like you're you're back you're already playing with an uneven playing field whenever you have stuff like that, whenever you have guys that are cheating. And there's been multiple noted cases of known players that cheated their ways into the club series, and some of them are actually even advancing on to the final round, to the, like, I guess, a quote unquote live event. So it just really just it blows my mind. And then this year, and another thing, let me know, guys, do you feel like every year it seems like they're just cutting down little by little and just kind of watering down the amount of opportunities that are available? This year, like, really, after the club series, what you have, the Madden Challenge and then LCQ. But, like, you know, I feel like with LCQ, unless if you're like right there and right at the cutoff point, like, I don't see too many people really making it, and out of nowhere in LCQ. So it's kind of more built for those guys that are kind of like on the bubble to try to make it to the Madden Bowl. But really, for guys that didn't make club series, I mean, you have the Madden Challenge, and we know how how fluky that MUT draft can be. So I don't know. I just feel like there's not enough opportunities out there. This is my opinion. Now, granted, you're probably looking at me and be like, okay, did you see how many spots they gave out in the club series? Which, you make a good point. I think there was like 256 spots in club series. But guys, unless if you're making it to your final of your club, that doesn't mean nothing. And the people that are going to argue against that, those are the same type of people that put Madden, I'll throw out a team out there, Browns Club Series semifinalist. Okay, you did that, but did you win any money? No, exactly. So get out of my face in this case. So if you don't make the final, which I think in this case is that top 32 or top 64. I think that'd be top 64. So basically either the winner on the Xbox or PS4 side. If you didn't make it that far, like, you're not making any money, fellas. So, like, to me, I feel like that's just in my opinion, I feel like that's just too many spots to give out like that. I remember back in whenever the club series first dropped, man, it was really tough to try to get in, because not every single NFL team had had a club series. And I think what's happened with opening up so many spots to the top 256 is that it causes a lot of problems in doing that, whether it be with like the DC glitching. Like, there's been people with multiple accounts that made a club series in the same club, and EA didn't catch that. Another thing that I noticed is that there's guys that they'll play on salary cap, which not a whole lot of people played. In my opinion, I'd say a majority of the comp players probably played through Weekend League, just because that's what the mode that's going to be, what the game mode is for the tournament, just on all Madden. So, like, there's people that played salary cap. They played like 10 games and they were already top 100 in their club or whatever, or top 8 or whatever in their club, which it just blows my mind. Like, and another example, I think it was Matster Gamer last year, I think, went like 2-0 or 3-0 in his in salary cap and made his club. So, and that's no shot at Matster. You did what you needed to do to get in. It's just, in my opinion, I feel like that's another example of like what the MCS needs to do to, I don't even know where I'm going. I just feel like there's so much that they need to improve on. In my opinion, with something like that, I feel like you have to have a minimum amount of games played to be able to be considered to qualify. Because if you're having, guys qualify for your biggest tournament of the year, if you're having them qualify and only having them play 3 games and they make top 8 in their club, what does that really say about your esport? Like, I don't think that, too many people are going to take that seriously. So that's just my thought. I know this is probably just going to end up being just like a rant, in my opinion, but just wanted to get my thoughts out there just to, provide some more context to you guys. I appreciate, like I said, Ryan915, appreciate you, giving me the inspiration to make this video, with this topic. I felt like it was just an interesting point. A lot of people kind of, spoke their thoughts on it. So figured, it was, an interesting thing to talk about around these times, especially with everything going on with Club Series. So if you guys did enjoy the video, number one, I'd appreciate you guys hitting that like button. And if you guys are looking forward to more content like this, such as sit-down videos, of course, gameplay videos, first and foremost, consider subscribing to the channel. And until the next one, guys, this is Dre Knows, and we're signing out. Peace.